Small business war stories. Small businesses are the soul of America. And this is where they tell their stories. I am your host, Pablo Fuentes. Hey, lovers of small business and good stories in general. Welcome to Small Business War Stories. This is your host, Pablo Fuentes. And today is the first in a burst of episodes that we are recording at South by Southwest, the really cool music, interactive, and film festival happening here in Austin, Texas every year. And I'm sitting down over the next week with different guests that I'm finding that have interesting stories. And today is a really special episode. It's the first time ever we have had 5 guests on the show at the same time. So today we had Zach, we had Destin, William, Jamie, and Carrie, and they were all great, and they were all in some way involved with business and community in the state of Louisiana. And we tell some stories. We talk about what it's like to do business in Louisiana, what's special about it. We talk about the cool things, the food, the music, and also about all the opportunities that are available to small businesses in the state of Louisiana. And it's really cool. It's a different type of episode. I hope you enjoy it. This podcast, like every episode of Small Business War Stories, is brought to you by Proven. Proven.com is a company I started, and it is a small business hiring software tool that also is a small business information hub. So we offer you all kinds of information that will help you run your small business better. Proven.com. Check it out. Without further ado, let's get into the big Louisiana episode of Small Business War Stories at South by Southwest. And we are live here, and we are in beautiful Austin, Texas. And today, I was at a South by Southwest event that was thrown by the city of... Who was the official organizer of the event? It was the city of Lafayette. Is that right?
Pretty much overall, it was a delegation of Lafayette, Louisiana.
Delegation of Lafayette, Louisiana. And there was a crawfish boil.
Crawfish boil.
And it was a crawfish boil, and we were all sitting there drinking beers and getting our fingers dirty. And you got to suck the head, right?
You got to suck the head.
Yeah.
You got to know how to peel it. You got to learn how to peel it. You got to suck the head.
Yeah.
If you really know how to do it, you got to suck the claws too. You can't forget the claw meat is one of the best parts of it.
I did about 50% of my claws, I'm not going to lie.
Did about 50%?
Yeah.
Well, if they're the little small ones, you can just kind of...
some of them seem like...
Why waste the time?
Yeah.
They got better stuff to eat.
Effort.
Yeah.
So what was great about this is, so I have a guest staying here with me in my house in Austin, and his name is Tommy Talley. He's from Baton Rouge, and he has a video production company, and he invited me to come to this event. And as I started talking to people, I learned a lot about all the interesting, cool things that are happening, exciting things that are happening in the state of Louisiana with regards to economic opportunity for small businesses. And so I want to talk to you guys. I want to introduce, maybe if each one of you, can, so I have William, if you want to go first. Sure. You can, talk a little bit about who you are. This is a record-breaking episode for Small Business War Stories. We currently have 5 guests at one time.
Enough for a small business.
Yeah. So if each one of you can just real quick, like a 10-second introduction.
Yeah. My name is William Ness. I'm with LUS FIber. I'm in charge of the business department over there. We're a municipally owned telecommunications company. We offer fiber to the home services. So very fast internet, telephone, television service.
Cool. Fast internet. All right.
Hey, I'm Jamie Nakamoto. I'm with Louisiana Economic Development, specifically the Louisiana Fast Start team. I oversee the Louisiana Job Connection and Louisiana Business Connection applications for companies in Louisiana.
So you want to bring people to Louisiana to work there?
That's it. I want to bring them here. I want them to work here, and I also want to connect small businesses with big opportunities.
That sounds awesome. All right, Destin.
My name's Destin Ortego. I'm the program administrator for the Opportunity Machine, which is the Lafayette Parish incubator and accelerator for startup companies, small businesses. Pretty much, or the easiest way to say it is if you're stuck, we help get you unstuck.
Okay, I like that. Zach.
Right. Yes, my name is Zach Hager. I actually work for One Acadiana. So we are the regional economic development organization. We partner a lot with our parish, 9-parish region, or as some people know as counties. We work a lot with Destin at the OM. We also leverage a lot of our local infrastructure that William represents, specifically the fiber to the home. We're a 2 gigabit city.
Cool.
And what I do specifically is work on the business development team. So my job is to lure jobs into our area and increase investment in Acadiana.
Awesome. Carrie.
Hi, my name is Carrie Eggleston. I am the college recruiter for CGI, an IT consulting company in Lafayette. Fortunate enough to get to share Lafayette and CGI and the growing IT opportunities in Lafayette with college students across the state and sometimes beyond, like events like this. Fortunate enough as well to really be involved with our partners. CGI strategically picked Lafayette based on our partnership with the university and the local and state economic development authorities, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to be involved with that as well.
Cool. So hold on to the mic for 1 second. So I've been to Lafayette a couple times. I've been to Baton Rouge. I've been through a lot of areas of Louisiana. And what's really cool is that you're all like really young, enthusiastic, and like excited about all the opportunities or things that are going on in Louisiana. And you've all come here all the way to Texas to share that story with other people. So can you tell me a little bit more about, from your perspective, what are some of the things that are really attractive about Louisiana for people who are considering maybe who have been there, who have not been there, who are thinking about going there? What are some of the things, some of the stories that come to mind when you think about Louisiana as a place of opportunity?
As a place of opportunity, I think that Louisiana has a lot to offer. It starts with some of the basic things like having a low tax bracket, which can really help. My dad owns a small business, and he has.
What kind of business is that?
He's in. It's primarily telecommunications, but he also does. He's a licensed arborist, does tree work. He kind of does a lot. And for him, just the tax effect is a huge thing. And so also with the community nature in Louisiana, referrals and word of mouth. He doesn't market at all, and all of his business is because he did a really good job and he was accountable for what he said he was going to do. And then people respect that, and they tell their friends and their neighbors, and they tell their kids' teacher, and it just goes on like that. So the word of mouth that in some bigger cities or in other places where you don't have that community effect, you may not have as much word of mouth business because the people aren't as relatable.
That's something I really learned a lot as I drove around the country. I did 10,000 miles last year. There's a lot of the places where you get the sense of community that if you're in a big city in the coast, maybe you don't get as much, right? So, but if you're in a place where like people know each other and know their neighbors, and like you kids play with each other, there's something magical about that really brings communities together, and that helps business, right?
Absolutely. It not only helps the business owner, but you can trust your neighbor to say this person did a good job, and so you almost don't have to vet them as much as you would a company that you don't know or anyone that has used them.
Awesome. So maybe one of you guys can share what are some misconceptions that people have? I mean, we were talking about this a little bit. We were joking about this a little bit back at the crawfish boil, right? But I'm sure this is something that you deal with, like misconception. You have a rich cultural history in Louisiana that has to do with like music, with art, but what is, and I'm sure there are a lot of assets that are related to that, but then maybe some things that are liabilities that you'd rather, like, what are some misconceptions that people have about Louisiana, and what's it like when you're actually there?
Well, I can speak personally. I think a lot of people, when you think about Louisiana, you think of the movies you've seen, and we're all out eating crawfish or shooting alligators. But there's we have a rich agribusiness, obviously, in some of our rural parishes. But in our urban core, such as Lafayette and some of our other larger municipalities in the region, we have a group of people who are hardworking, who are out there in high-tech manufacturing jobs, things that you don't necessarily associate with South Louisiana. Like we mentioned before, we're a city with fiber connectivity. A lot of people don't think about that when they think about South Louisiana.
What does that mean?
That means that you have internet speeds that you don't see. We're some of the fastest internet speeds in the world, honestly. And
wow.
Being able to leverage our municipal fiber network is huge, especially when we're talking about as Carrie mentioned, the low cost of doing business is a big sell for someone like me who's out there trying to court businesses into our area. And having that low cost of business is one thing, but to be able to say, okay, not only can you come here and do what you need to do at a lower cost, but you have access to high-tech infrastructure that you're not going to find just anywhere around the country.
So what's your pitch? So let's say I'm a small business. I'm considering, starting somewhere. and I'm listening to this program, and I follow the stories that we share every week. What's your pitch to people who say, come here, there's opportunity here?
Well, obviously one is always going to be the low cost of business, but we're pitching our infrastructure as well as the fact that, as a bigger city, Lafayette, you have a lot of access to assets that you might not find in some of your more rural areas. But at the same time, we want to partner with you. We want to take the time to make sure that your business is successful. And so connecting you with the people who can make your business better is one of the best things that we do. I mean, for a great example, we have Opportunity Machine, which is what Destin's here representing, and the ability to connect businesses with the available assets that we need around the region and help them grow, and to not only just say, here you go, okay, you're here, we'll let you figure it out, but be able to walk them through the process that really help them grow.
Can you think of a story of somebody that comes to mind when you think about that, or maybe like some of the things that Opportunity Machine does or that you've done? Of somebody that's taking advantage and what was their name? Put me in their shoes.
Absolutely. I'm going to let Destin talk a little bit about some of that work with OM.
All right. So a recent huge success would be Chrismo with Waiter. So Waiter's a food delivery app, and Chrismo was born right down the road from Lafayette in a place called Crowley. And he moved around a lot. He worked for a couple of different communication companies and things like that. And but he always had that entrepreneurial spirit, and he kept having these ideas and everything like that. And people kept telling him that you can't do what you want to do. You can't start up a business like that in Louisiana. Okay. You're going to have to go to Silicon Valley, or you're going to have to go to New York or somewhere like that to do it. And he just refused to believe that. So he tried starting up another company. He had a business plan that was about, a foot tall. Wow. And he did all the right things that he was told that he needed to do in order to get it done. Had investments of upwards of $20 million, had everything he thought he needed to have put together. Yep. And it failed, It just didn't work out because he listened to everybody else who told him exactly
what
was
the specific company
needed to do. So the company was a tech company. Yeah. I don't know the exact specifics of it, but they were building something that, they thought that, people needed. Turns out they didn't take the time to ask people if that's really what they needed. And when they went to launch it, they didn't need it. They didn't want it. So no one bought it, Yeah. But
if you build it, they won't come.
Exactly. But instead of letting that defeat him, he came back with the support of his family and some other investors, came back to Lake Charles. And then, he started working on it. He went to Florida, went through the startup weekend, met a couple other guys where they basically came up with the idea for Waiter. Okay. And they went through that process, and he said, you know what? I think I'm going to take this and I'm going to run with it. Yeah. And, and I'm going to do it in Louisiana. I don't care what anybody else says, but I'm going to go to Louisiana and I'm going to do this there. Okay. And he came to Louisiana. He started it in Lake Charles. He got a couple of college students on board, told them, look, he was a good sales guy, so he managed to talk to them into working for him for 9 months for free. Yeah. And, just convince them that, this is what I need you to do. And to kind of cut through, he's there now, and those two college students are basically multimillionaires 3 years later, But he did that, Lake Charles and Lafayette. Lafayette was the second location that they went into, and they went through the Opportunity Machine, and they grew exponentially. When they came into the Opportunity Machine, they were at about, I think, 200,000 orders. And to this date, I think they're pushing 6 million orders now. Yeah. There are about awesome. 4,000 employees nationwide now, 150 markets. Yeah. So, they were able to do that in a city like Lafayette and expand quickly. So it doesn't matter where you are now necessarily. As long as you have that motivation, the technology gives you the access. But then when you come to a place like Lafayette, kind of talking to what your question earlier about common misconceptions, a lot of people think that you can't do something like that. Like, you have to go to Silicon Valley to do that. Yeah. But you can do that in Lafayette because we have fiber. We have things like the Opportunity Machine to help accelerate business.
You know what's really interesting? Over the last 20 or 30 years, so if you go back 30, 40 years, between 20 and 40 years, young people used to leave the communities like Lafayette to seek opportunity elsewhere, right? And what's happened is that technology is giving people the opportunity to bring a lot of that opportunity to them, so that they're able to do that and be still within their communities and be with their families, and have that kind of small town feel, while also having all the opportunities that you used to only have available to you at bigger places, at bigger cities, right? So actually, let's talk to Jamie. Like, tell me a little bit more. So as somebody, with the Louisiana economic development, what does that mean for you? So what are the things that you highlight to people for them to to come to Louisiana? And you were somebody, we were talking earlier, you were born in the swamp.
Yes.
Your words, not mine. Your
Yes.
words, not mine. So you are a great example, because you're somebody that maybe 30 years ago you would have had to go to maybe Atlanta,
Yes.
or New Orleans, or somewhere where was a larger economic opportunity center. And now you're doing your work in Baton Rouge. You're working with the state of Louisiana to bring people there. What has that been like for you, and what do you see as the opportunity there?
Well, so on the state level, we work with companies in every region of the state. So from Northwest, Shreveport, Bossier, all the way down to New Orleans and the Bayou region. We cover all the different regions, all the different cultures, all the different things that are happening there. And it's exciting because, as you mentioned, I've been here my whole life, and I love the state. And, growing up in, the swamp, if you will,
Yep.
It's really cool because I was very much immersed in the culture and the food and all the things that make Louisiana very unique. But at the same time, being able to be a part of the tech movement that's happening here. I mean, for example, there are about 5,000 technology jobs that we are trying to fill in the state. So
Wow.
we're trying to help employers of all sizes, everywhere from, startups like Waiter, like Destin was mentioning earlier, all the way to, larger companies as well. There are all these opportunities for people, both people who are, coming out of the universities here in Louisiana, to just stay, so, they're here, they're having a good time, they have an opportunity to, set some roots, if you will, and grow their careers right here in Louisiana. There are, opportunities for them to move and grow.
Now tell me your story. So I want to hear your story. Did you ever think about leaving?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. So what was that thought process? What kept you there? How is that, we're all human, right? So we all look at what are the pros and cons of all these situations. So I want to hear your thought process and your struggle with what it was like to consider going to maybe somewhere else and choosing to stay there in Baton Rouge and do the work you do.
So for me, family was a big pull. I mean, when, you live in Louisiana, it's a lot of, togetherness and just, fun stuff, everybody kind of gathered in the kitchen, sharing a really nice meal, playing some music, dancing, having a good time, that's just a big part of our life, and so, I'd say regardless of what part of Louisiana you live in, that's a big part of your life here.
Where did you consider moving to?
A larger city, anywhere, from, Houston seemed safe because it was right here in Texas. It's so drivable all the way, to New York City, something like that, so it was, there was really, there's a pretty wide range there. Just for different opportunity, just to kind of see, what other people are doing, how other people are living.
But it's got to be empowering and also validating to see your peers, right? The people you're sitting with here in this room right now, making that choice to stay there and making that choice and say hey, we're all in this together, right?
Yes.
We're all doing this.
And that's been the coolest thing of all, so I'm really happy I stayed, I did through different opportunities travel across the country and work with companies and states, other states aside from Louisiana, and that was great. It gave me a lot of insight. But at the end of the day, always wanted to come back home. There's just that sense of there's no other place in the entire country is anything like Louisiana. And so I think, whether you're from here or you are, from the state or you visit or you, choose to move there and do business there, it's not like anywhere else.
That's awesome.
And
so let's talk to William a little bit about what are the things that help you, if you were to take that one line, Louisiana, it's not like anywhere else. What are the things for you that are unique about living there, not just from a business perspective, but from like, you know, loving life, like the things that like you think are awesome?
Absolutely. You know, music and food.
Okay.
2 words, 3 words, I guess, but music, comma, food. Yeah. They, you know, there's so much stuff to do. We have so many amazing music and food festivals. I was just telling Pablo about the Festival International de Louisiana, the world's largest free international music festival is held in Louisiana. LUS FIber just happens to be a presenting sponsor, but but the reason we did that is because it has a huge reach, and you know, people in Lafayette really embrace, you know, those kind of leisure activities, enjoying life, and that's what I really love about the area.
Okay, cool. What are some of the things that you've gotten involved with recently that fire you up? Like what's your favorite type of food in Louisiana?
That's a good question. There's a lot of different. So Cajun food, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely. But
I had boudin when I was there.
Oh, you did? Yeah. I'm actually wearing a boudin festival T-shirt right now.
Oh wow, there you go.
But you know, there's a lot of different ethnic food. There's you know, all the different countries are represented in Lafayette. In Lafayette, I you know, I don't have the number, the source to back this up, but we were recently cited as having more restaurants per capita than New York City.
Wow.
So there's a lot of different stuff. Obviously, Cajun food is the big draw, but there's something for everyone.
I was there for the Cajun festival many years ago, and I remember seeing this amazing, like, you know, like there was a guy who's probably about 75 years old, right? He had like a straw hat, and he was like going and stomping his foot, and he was singing in some kind of, I don't know exactly what he was saying, but it sounded it sounded rhythmic. Yeah. And I was having my my jambalaya with some alligator, and you know, it definitely had like a real. I remember it was a Saturday afternoon, you know, like a real good feel to it. Okay. Now you guys also have the University of Louisiana Lafayette. That's right. Correct. And then also you have Louisiana State University, and then many other universities. And so there's a vibrant, you know, community of people in the state that keep I guess getting involved with business, which helps all of the things you guys are talking about, right?
Yeah, one of the really interesting things about Lafayette, and I actually used to work at the Lafayette Economic Development Authority before I worked for LUS FIber, and talking to people outside of the state, one of the things that they really loved about the community was how accessible the leaders in the community are. Yeah. You know, here we have a vice president of the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. We have our mayor president. We have the chief administrative officer. You know, so when we're talking to companies in Austin that we were, you know, trying to recruit to Lafayette and open an office in Lafayette, you know, they were just amazed at how well everyone in those kind of positions can work together and to solve problems.
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys have all a real good vibe, a real good feel. Before we sign off, is there anything else you want to share with our audience about where they can find more information, and anything else you want to share about what it's like to do business in Louisiana and the awesomeness that comes with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Check out lusfiber.com, you know, to learn about our amazing internet and our internet pricing. There's a lot of people here mentioned the LUS FIber story itself is very interesting. Okay. You know, Lafayette's very entrepreneurial. In 1898, the city wasn't getting electricity from outside providers, and so the city actually voted to do it themselves. Oh, and in 2005, they did the same thing with LUS FIber. We had Cox Communications and AT&T in Lafayette, and people weren't satisfied with their internet speeds, like a lot of different people are. And so the city-owned utility, issued a $125 million bond and built their own fiber network. Boom. So, you know, we have a lot of history of entrepreneurism in the area.
Let's make it happen.
And I recommend people visit Lafayette.org. That's LIDA's website for more information about how to start a business in Lafayette.
Okay. Awesome.
On the state level, companies can visit LouisianaBusinessConnection.com or LouisianaJobConnection.com. These are free resources exclusive to companies doing business in Louisiana. Yep. So they will help you find talent, both in-state and out-of-state, and also B2B partnerships as well. On the individual level, Here Now Louisiana and Louisiana Job Connection as well will help you find both job opportunities and quality of life and just other information about living in all the regions of the state.
Love it. All right. We'll put all these links in the show notes too. So.
Yeah. And if you're looking to start a business in Lafayette, visit opportunitymachine.org And you can find, we have a ton of classes to educate entrepreneurs on how to start up a business, how to make sure it grows and stays successful. And we have a number of space as well. So if you're not looking to, reach out and start spending money on, expensive office space right away.
Yeah.
You can come in
matters
and
when
apply.
you're starting out.
Yeah. And
A
if
lot
you're
of our
looking to
guests
create
talk about
if you're looking to create jobs, then we have space available for you to work out of.
Love it.
And we have mentors to make sure that you stay on the right path of growing your business.
Opportunity machine. Love it. All right. Zach, what do you got?
Yeah, so we're always, as a business recruitment type organization, trying to tell our story. So if you'd like to learn more about the Acadiana region, happens to be the best region in the state, if you ask me, you definitely should visit oneacadiana.org. It tells our story, where we are, how we got there.
Yeah.
And
Acadian, so just a little bit. So there's a great podcast called, I don't even know them, but I'm going to plug them. It's called Cocaine and Rhinestones. And it's about country music, and they had a recent episode that's awesome about the history of Acadian music.
Mm-hmm.
So Acadian means it's basically people who, of a French heritage.
Correct.
Who were in a particular region of the South, right?
Yes, and that kind of links back to, as what Will mentioned, we have that Festival International, which is our largest francophone international festival in the world, I believe, of French-speaking countries that come down to our area. And like I mentioned, getting our story out, understanding who we are and why we're here, and the great things about South Louisiana is definitely what we're trying to do. So, oneacadiana.org is a great place to do that, as well as get access to a lot of our assets and local partners that can help you, as a small business grow, being OM, Lafayette Economic Development, as well as our state organization and people on staff that we have.
Sweet. Carrie, sign us off into the podcast sphere with your Louisiana awesomeness.
So to wrap it up, we've covered a lot of aspects of Louisiana, a lot of awesomeness. If at the very least, no matter what you're interested in, come and check out this festival. It is the end of April. Starts on the 25th. It's from a Wednesday to a Sunday.
Perfect.
There's more than you could possibly want to enjoy. Come get some food, get some music, get some culture, let it seep in. And if you want to experience any of the other aspects that we've discussed, check out one of those links. Reach out. Someone will contact you, and we can make it work while you're there getting the festival as well.
Love it. Thank you so much. I am so very happy that today I went to the crawfish boil, and thank you for all being guests in Small Business War Stories.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for listening to Small Business War Stories. If you enjoy the show, share it with a friend, or you can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or on our blog at blog.proven.com. If you have an idea for us, we'd love to hear it. Please email us at podcast@proven.com. See you next time. Small Business War Stories. Small businesses are the soul of America. And this is where they tell their stories. I am your host, Pablo Fuentes.